Welcome back to the channel everyone. It's been a while, but I'm going to show you around my tropical style UK garden up here in Yorkshire in June. So let's get straight into the video.
Great northern exotic, botanist vibes hypnotic. Cacti in the crib, got the desert symbolic.
Well, we've had
Tropical.
maybe one of the hottest springs and early summers for a while. Very little rain and really hot, regularly in the 20s, and everything's looking really well for this time of year. So I'm just going to go around and show a few of the highlights from this garden, and we'll start in this sunny border here, which is, I call it my sunny border because it gets the sun all day, and it's on the west, it's west facing. And we'll start with the bananas. So I did an experiment over winter where these two pseudo stems were wrapped up and this one wasn't, and I lost maybe a foot or so, foot and a half from this one, but you can see it's definitely put on more growth from where I cut it to where it is now. There's actually more growth than the ones that were protected, so I don't know what conclusions to draw from that, but it's interesting anyway because it is sort of catching up, and it does make me feel like I won't bother wrapping the bananas in the future. You can see the smaller pseudo stems are doing really well, and I think that's kind of a nice way of letting them grow, so you've got a little bit of interest hiding the not so nice looking crusty pseudo stems there with the dead leaves. And in front of it there we've got the Cephalaria gigantea, which is the giant scabious, which is freestanding most of the part, but this is kind of a windy area of the garden, so I've kind of strung it to the fence. But the passion flower, you might be able to see here, at some point the passion flower grabs hold of it and holds it in place. So that does flower in June and July, and then if I deadhead it, I do get a second flush later in the summer. But they are really attractive to the pollinators. You can see, if I zoom in there, you see always full of pollinators, these plants. I've got these dotted around the garden, and I grew them from seed. I think it was Mike Clifford I bought the seed from, possibly. Yeah, but really interesting there. And then I've got the Calopanax under there, which hasn't put on any height since Jack at Yorkgate gave me it. It has put on leaves, it has obviously put out leaves, but no height, so the woody stem is still the same height. But I'm kind of cutting this Persicaria back just to give it a little bit of space as it grows. But obviously it'll turn into a tree at some point with its spiky trunk. Got a canna there that had no protection. Don't know what kind of canna it is. I got that from Yorkshire Chris. It just stays in the ground. Never given me a flower, but maybe this year. Who knows? And then all the Rudbeckia, you can see the Rudbeckia here are just coming into bud now, so they are ready to go. Then I've got a Sonchus, can't remember, Sonchus parmensis. I've got one in the ground and one in a pot, and the one in the pot seems to be doing better than one in the ground, so draw whatever conclusion you can from that. Some lambs here that were self-seeded, and then this is the Euphorbia shillingi, which will get massive, but I kind of feel like June is a good time of year in my garden. By August things have just gone a little bit too big, but it's filling out nicely. I've just got a gap there where the lupins were. See there, that I had to cut the lupins back, they're absolutely just covered in green fly, so cut them back and I think it's dead. And then I've got the solanum there, look, pyrocanthum, which many people grow as an annual, but this is 3 years old now and it keeps coming back. So that's the sunny border. Now we'll go through the central beds that sort of arch round here in sort of a crescent shape. But on this side you can see the Achillea. It's absolutely wild. It's very big, very tall now, massive. I should really split it, but this gives colour all summer. Don't know what kind of Achillea it is, but next to it, fig tree. Loads of figs this year. And I think I'll probably cut it back, because one thing I've found is that I haven't done yet, because I didn't know how I wanted to train the fig tree, whether to grow it kind of up into a tree or just a big shrub. But when I have cut it back, you can see it there. If you can get through there, you can see that it is just total. Cut it back, it just branches a lot. So I think I might give it a hard cut back next year to encourage more bushy growth, because it is just as it was when I bought it. The Niphophia red hot pokers are sort of on the way out now. This is the first flush that kind of looks best in mid-June, and then there's sort of not a very good second flush in July, but they're done really. I don't know what kind of Niphophia they are, but they are definitely early colour, and then nothing for the rest of the summer. And then behind it you can see how big the Tetrapanax leaves are getting. There, I was looking at the two big stem, well, big for my garden. The two woody stems didn't die back, so they're still growing from the same growing point. Didn't grow back in winter, didn't die back, sorry, in winter, but decent sized leaves now, very deeply lobed. And again, I don't know what variety of Tetrapanax, but I'm not that precious about the names and the varieties and whatnot. You can see there the Fatsias are doing well, and I'm just going to leave them to go. Maybe I should, probably at some point I should cut them back, so I don't know if it's competing with the Trachea. But hey, just talk about the Trachea, you can see how much height is put on. It's very happy where it is, because when I transplanted it from a friend's garden a few years ago, the trunk was up to here, and then you can see the height there that it's reaching, and the petioles, I think, I don't know if they're called the petioles, but these things here are way longer than they were for the first few years in the ground. But it is very big, and I'm leaving these on. I'm not going to trim it. I kind of like that wild look. And then moving around here, we've got the Miscanthus giganteus that I've kind of tied back, because until it grows a little bit taller, it does sort of block off the way through on the bridge there. But yeah, doing really well. But interesting, I will show you later the Miscanthus lutariarius, whatever it is, and it's interesting the difference between giganteus and that, but I will show you that. At the minute, the decking is a bit of an empty space, because we've got the hammock and the sun loungers on the lawn for now, because it's a bit of a sun trap there. And as the garden's matured and grown, this used to be a sun trap, and of course when I was sitting here now, we've got lovely privacy from the neighbours, but it is dappled light now, because we've got the eucalyptus above, of course. So as the garden's matured, the areas and zones have changed a little bit. We've got some nice passion flower up here, look. So the passion flower's in the sunny border, but we get most of the flowers on the decking. And then we get the nice smell of the wisteria from our next door neighbour in spring as well. So while we're around here, I'll just talk about this area this is where the hammock normally lives. And you can see the Fargesia ruffia as I mean, look at the size of the culms now. They were really thin culms when I first bought it. It was only like a 2 litre pot, I think it came in, but it's now spread through the garden, and obviously I'm removing the lower leaves on there to kind of give it more of a feature. It's eaten into the skimia, and you can see my Paulownia there. I think one of my son's friends kicked that accidentally, and it snapped at the ground, and it's obviously coming back, but I'm trying to give it space, give it light. It does get evening light in this spot, and I'm cutting it back around, so giving it space, because I would like it to get high enough that it actually forms a small tree. This was an offcut, this Musa Basjoo from the other one. Then we've got some more giant scabious, and we've got the wisteria there, and some jasmine on the back wall. But I have put down here, thanks to someone who gave me a little hint, that this Truscea gigantea is much better in the ground, and it doesn't look like much now, but I'm just going to chance it in the ground. And if anyone knows Chusquea gigantea, you'll know you'll know that it should fill. I'm hoping to fill this whole space. Imagine the culms reaching up into the sky there, just to give a bit more dramatic effect as you walk around this corner of the path, and it opens up there. We'll head over the damaged bridge over the stream that's not turned on at the minute. I do need to replace the wooden slats on this bridge at some point, but we'll talk about, while we're here, I'm getting covered in pollen, the Arundo Donax, which is here, and I kind of feel like it's sort of fighting its way out of the Fatsia here. Once it kind of gets out, maybe I need to cut this back and give it more room to grow, but you can see down there where it is, and it's sort of, I've contained it into a small area, knowing how vigorous it grows, and it is a clumping for me, more clumping than the Miscanthus giganteus, but maybe I need to cut back some of that Fatsia to give it more room. Maybe also give this small trachea more room as well. By this time of year, this Euphorbia wolfenii is sort of gone past its best and ready for next year's growth. We've got more Rudbeckia in there. We can see all the Verbena bonariensis, see on there. Absolutely covered this. This is just, most of this is self-seeded from 1 or 2 plants I put in a few years ago. As you can see coming around there. See back around to the waterfall, where we've got the mind your own business growing over the rocks now. I do need to clear that stream out a little bit as well. Talk about the shady border now, and you can see there we've got the eucalyptus, which all 3 eucalyptus do get cut back every in height every maybe February or March, but it does give a nice shade to this area. So you've got the Gunnera there that I've had to tie back. I've sort of, in hindsight, I should have given it loads more room, but of course the path where it is and Gunnera's where it is, so that does need a lot of water, and I tie it back to keep it out of the way. And you can come round and see we've got more, my other trachea down there. The Fargesia is just going wild. You can see the new heights of the height of the new culms of the Fargesia is going crazy. We've got a cardoon flower spike there, but it is covered in aphids, so not as healthy as last year. And then we've got this Euphorbia mellifera that I've tried to cut back. I've cut back the Fatsia and the ferns and everything, just to give this a little bit more room to breathe, because obviously it got kind of leggy to start with because it was finding its way out, but then I'm sort of giving it this area to grow up in. This is my other Sonchus parmensis or canariensis, can't remember which one it is, but yeah, not looking great, but maybe it's because it's in the shady area, who knows. And you can see how tall the Fatsia is now. It's definitely reached over the fence, and it's maybe 2.5 meters high now. I did cut it back under there, but new growth has come out of where I've cut it, and it's filling out again. But again, it's given the ferns that I've underplanted it with a bit more space. A big cordyline there, it's doing really well. Maybe I'll raise a crown at some point, and then I can get something planted under there. Over into the barrel pond. Again, that does need tidying up a little bit, but it is what it is. I'll just leave it. I'll just let the newts get on with it in there. And then we've got that giant grass, Miscanthus lutariparius, that is pretty tall at the minute, definitely taller than the giganteus, measuring it from the base of the culms. But you can see, if I zoom in there, you can see the interesting colour. I'll take it so we can get a little bit closer there, but look at the thickness. Let me just show you compared to my hand. That's how thick the culm is, and yeah, I just love the look at the colour. almost glaucous, like pink colour. Zoom out a little bit. I've only got like 3 stems on it, but it is a solid plant. So I'm just trying to imagine what it'll be like next year when it's filled out that barrel. I'll give it a little bit more water. So we'll head over to the desert bed, because there's been a few changes in the desert bed this year. I've added a few more things, took a few more things out. You might note, first thing you might notice is the Washingtonia filibusters come out, because I didn't like it. So that's gone, and I've replaced it with a couple of small agaves. I've got Montana at the back, and I've got a Vartifolia there, only small. Just put them in, see what they do. My Apuntia ficus indica that absolutely got almost wiped out in winter, you can see, is actually pushing out new growth. And behind it, there's a Shrubbery putting out some new pads as well. And then we've got my Yucca rostrata, my Yucca linearis, doing really well, thickening up, putting on a trunk. And then the Aloe striatula at the back there. Aeoniums are not looking that healthy, but there you go. I've got my crassula there. And then the 2 main plants at the minute are the 2 agave americanas that are just looking very, very healthy. And I think thinking ahead, at some point they're going to look too big for this space, but for now I think they'll look pretty good. Echeveries are doing really well, both of them flowering. There's the other one, look, there you go, Agavoides over there. And then this is this, a lot of people ask about this when they see pictures on Instagram. This is a Sorencia bruchii, or bruchii, which is, bearing in mind we had -6 degrees over winter, and it had a tarp over it obviously, but it took the temperatures no problem. Obviously happy there, 4 flowers this year, and I've got a couple more Sorencia bruchii in, got one there, and I've got one just in the middle of the screen there, and both from different localities, but we'll see how they go. Apuntia vulgaris, we've got a little agave Parii Neo-Mexicana, and there's the Apuntia vacantha, and then dotted around it I've just put some California poppies. I just thought kind of interesting to see if these California poppies, there's another one growing there, they haven't flowered yet, but I think it will look interesting to have a little bit of summer colour. A few annuals dotted around in there, sort of desert annuals or arid annuals, and I think it looks pretty good, mate. And last but not least, we'll head up into the greenhouse, all 4 by 6 foot of it, and you can see things are looking pretty good in here. I'm trying to move a lot of things over to terracotta from the plastic pots, and I'm starting to top dress with some lava rock instead of just a standard horticultural grit. Some flowers. So I've got my Copiapo collection here. Some freaky looking ones. Epilantha bockii there. Strombo cactus and Pellicifera. And I've got my 3 species of Aztecium there. Another Copiapo, nice looking Cinerea there. And then I've got my habitat style plantings that I wrote about in Cactus World in June's edition. If anyone's a member of the BCSS, this has been something I've been interested in for a while now, staging habitat style. So there you go, there's a June update from my garden on the summer solstice. So thanks for watching, and do consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.